Welcome to Eye on Africa. I'm Clarisse Fortuné, and these are the top stories from across the continent. Fresh violence is sweeping across Nigeria. 15 people killed in Katsina state, while deadly explosions rock the northeastern city of Maiduguri, leaving at least 23 dead. A surge in attacks raising fears of worsening insecurity across the country. In the DR Congo, talk of a third term for President Félix Tshisekedi is growing louder. As allies openly back the idea, tensions are rising with an opposition that says the constitution must be respected. And in South Africa, tens of thousands of abused children never get the chance to speak in court, too traumatized to testify. Now, an unusual ally is stepping in, specially trained dogs helping young victims find the courage to tell their story. But first, we have some breaking news to bring you. The Appeals Committee of the Confederation of African Football overturned the results of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final, declaring Senegal the loser by forfeit after the Lions of Teranga decided to walk off the field. And for more on this, we are joined by James Fassina. What else do we know, James?
Guys, sounds almost unbelievable to hear you actually just say that there. We've just a few minutes ago here received this statement here from CAF telling us that the score has been overturned in the final. Of course, this coming 2 months after what was one of the most incredible finals, in terms of drama that we've ever seen. But just to give you the latest, is indeed CAF saying here that the appeals board decided that in application of Article 84 and 82, that Morocco are declared winners of Afcon that took place on the 18th of January in the final, and Senegal then losing. Senegal having forfeited the game. That being based on then Article 82. Article 82 being if you leave the field of play, then you lose the game, which was, of course, part of the whole controversy of the Senegalese players leaving because of a referee decision for a penalty, of course, that was handed to Morocco. And from there, Article 84 being that if you don't follow Article 82, then you lose 3-0. That is it. 2 months after that dramatic final was played out, Senegal, according to CAF's release just a few minutes ago, are no longer African champions. They thought they were for 2 months. They've taken the trophy home. They've paraded. They've celebrated for the last 2 months. That, if you to come from this statement, is no longer the case. Morocco are declared African champions.
That's incredible. James, maybe it's too early to say, but is it the end or can we make appeal?
At this point, it's difficult to say. There's been, of course, several investigations been going on since the start because of all the controversy that happened around the final, because of what happened, of course, with the players, with also what's happening around the pitch, the whole towels incident, and it just generally about that. So at this point, this appears to be the decision taken by CAF after Morocco lodged their complaints. So this does indeed appear to be the final decision. We'll be just going through the whole statements just to get a complete grip of it. But that is what we have right now that's come through in these last few minutes. Absolutely incredible to believe there, Clarisse.
It's going to be a shockwave in Senegal and across the African football for sure. Thank you very much, Ndasina, for all the details. We'll keep monitoring the situation and also, above all, the reactions. Thank you very much. Now, a new wave of violence is shaking Nigeria. Gunmen have killed at least 15 people in attacks on villages in the northwest, while in the northeastern city of Maiduguri, coordinated blasts tore through a busy market and surrounding areas. At least 23 people were killed and more than 100 wounded in one of the deadliest recent attacks in the city. The surge in bloodshed is raising fresh concerns about security across the country. Sam Olukoya is in Lagos.
The suspected suicide bombers targeted 3 of the busiest parts of Maiduguri in an apparent attempt to inflict maximum casualties. The 3 targets were carefully chosen: a busy market, the entrance of the largest hospital in northeast Nigeria, and the post office area in the central business district of the city. Videos shared online after the incident showed the disturbing images of lifeless bodies and other people that sustained life-threatening injuries. No group has claimed responsibility for this deadly attack that claimed the lives of at least 23 people and left more than 100 others injured. Suspicion for the attack easily fall on the jihadist group Boko Haram. Boko Haram has carried out hundreds of suicide bombings in Borno State and other parts of northern Nigeria as part of its violent campaign for the introduction of Islamic rule. Boko Haram has killed thousands of people through suicide bombings since 2011. The group is notorious for using captive women and children for suicide bombings. While Boko Haram has significantly reduced the intensity of its suicide bombings in recent years, this latest attack has raised concern that the group may have chosen to return to the days of mass killings through suicide bombings.
Now to the DRC, where there have long been suspicions that President Félix Tshisekedi will run for a third term. More and more senior members of the government and his political party are making it clear that's the plan. It's setting the stage for a showdown with opposition parties. Emma Livingston in Kinshasa has more.
Over the past few days, discussion around changing the constitution in the Democratic Republic of Congo has popped up everywhere. Long suspected to be in the works, allies of President Félix Tshisekedi are now increasingly forthright about their intention to change the constitution. The president of Tshisekedi's political party, Augustin Kabuya, recently told supporters at a rally that the constitution would be changed. And on Monday, the Minister for Sport stated that the ruling party was gunning for a third term. Presidents in Congo are limited to 2 5-year terms, but changing the constitution could, in theory, allow President Tshisekedi to run for a third and indeed a fourth term. Some members of the president's party say that holding an election is impossible so long as conflict persists in the country's east.
Since 1960, there have been lots of institutional reforms, so this is part of our everyday life. It's by no means something new, but what might seem new is perhaps this reversal of the role of the constitutional revision. Because in 2006, for example, or even 2003, we carried out reforms because we wanted to consolidate the peace we had just achieved. Whereas now, in fact, the aim is quite the opposite. We want to carry out reforms in order to achieve peace. This is in fact what the political authorities are saying, that they would like to change the constitution because they actually want to have peace in the DRC. So it's this reversal of the role of institutional reforms that is surprising.
Seeking to stay in power is a move that's high risk and highly controversial. Not all members of Tshisekedi's party agree with changing the constitution, and opposition politicians have vowed to oppose it, setting the stage for political turmoil. The current constitution was promulgated in 2005, designed to end years of civil war. But some Congolese critics say the text is unsuited to the country's current realities.
Now, tens of thousands of child abuse cases are reported each year in South Africa. One of the main challenges remains the difficulty children face when testifying in a justice system, often perceived as intimidating. To address this, a unique approach has been introduced. Therapy dogs are now helping children familiarize themselves with court processes. Have a look.
On Saturdays at the Krugersdorp Magistrates Court, pets are welcome. These dogs even dress up in costumes inspired by the court. There is Diva, the prosecutor, wearing a black and gold robe. Mia, the magistrate, in red. Cody, the Labrador, wears a police uniform, and Linka, in a little pink dress, is the witness.
So Linka plays various roles, and depending on what role she wears will determine what outfit she wears for the day.
These dogs attend pre-trial court sessions with children. In South Africa, nearly 30,000 cases of child abuse are reported each year. For children, the judicial environment can be extremely intimidating. These role-play exercises help them better understand how a court works. After the session, children can spend time with the dogs. Dr. Omar has been working with the South African justice system since 2015.
By stroking the dog, it enhances the serotonin and the happy hormones, endorphins are released, and they're more likely to feel confident in testifying. And that's something that we've observed, that children who go through this opportunity of engagement with therapy dogs certainly are more competent in their testimonies.
Children leave the sessions much more relaxed than when they arrive.
I have a court case on the 30th of March, and I don't know what to expect, but after today, I think I'm ready.
For now, dogs are not allowed to accompany children on the day of the trial, but those behind the program hope that one day it will be possible, as is already the case in Canada and Australia.
And that's it for this edition of Eye on Africa. Thank you for watching.